got a lot to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yeah, to start with, was Harold Malmgren part of MJ12? Well, that's what his daughter, Dr. Pippa Malmgren, is now saying or suggesting. So let's talk about that. This is from Matthew Pines. Must read two-part series by Dr. Pippa Malmgren. Bissell said to my dad, she says, "You are the youngest of the whiz kids. I am going to tell you things because someone needs to know this in the future, and you'll still be around." They had dinner every Friday night for many months after that. When he passed, my dad, Harold Malmgren, said, "We guardians of the MJ." More than once, and not just to me. People who follow this subject will know what he was referring to. We guardians of the MJ was something he was repeating to not just Pippa, but others. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he was part of MJ12. He says guardians of the MJ. So is he on the outer circle, a guardian of the core group, but aware of them and, part of their activities, in the control group, but not necessarily one of the controllers, something like that. Harold Malmgren is a fascinating figure, and yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. In fact, it'd be kind of surprising if he hadn't been brought in some capacity, honestly. So this makes perfect sense. I'm glad Pippa is talking about it. I would love to learn more information about it. Maybe we will in the days ahead. Pippa is also saying the confrontation in space is becoming more visible and more unsustainable. Space Force DoD says that China is practicing dogfighting in space. Is the U.S. practicing too? Remember, space has no journalists. Space is highly classified. So what we know and what is true may be very far apart. This is all the more reason for the superpowers to find their way to a cessation of hostilities. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? But yeah, so she says that according to Space Force DoD, China is practicing dogfighting in space. Yeah, that's not great. Are they anticipating fighting in space? Are we actually going to have Star Wars style dogfights in space? That looks great on screen, but I wouldn't want to do it, and it makes me very, very nervous about the future. Are we weaponizing space? Is that going to be a new avenue for warfare? I mean, it makes sense that it would ultimately, right? We do call it the Space Force. That is a military branch. So, is that why Space Force was created? Are we transitioning? Are we segueing or getting to a point where we're going to start being able to have warfare in space? That really is alarming, but I think that may be where we're going. I hope not. I hope not. Meanwhile, I've got to correct myself on talking about these crazy pylons or whatever the hell they are under the Khafre pyramid. I said they were 600 plus feet below the ground, but that was a slip of the tongue. What I meant was meters. Yeah, that's right, guys. These guys are deep. These things are deep, and they connect to that big cube thing way below ground, like 2 kilometers underground. The whole thing is. What the heck is going on there, guys? It's insane. Jay Anderson is drawing a comparison to the rods of a reactor. Very interesting comparison. Yeah, we don't know what the hell those things are, what that structure is under the Khafre pyramid on the Giza plateau, but it is super intriguing. It is not something that you would expect Egyptians of that time to build. I think that the official narrative is crumbling and crumbling fast, guys. So, yeah, this thing was deep. It is weird. It is inexplicable. Could it be some power generator? Very possible, folks. It's looking more and more likely that that is a possibility. Meanwhile, a disclosure party is saying a new video of an orb UAP in Kingsville, which was reported to be mimicking FAA compliant aviation lighting. All right, let's check out this orb that is mimicking FAA compliant lighting. It's over a three and a half minute clip. Benny just woke up. All right, is there any sound? Cover Benny. That is an awesome orb, purple. Okay, flickering out. Oh, and there we go with the blinking. There we go with the blinking. Very nice. An anomalous orb that seems to be mimicking a blinking FAA light, FAA compliant light. Very cool. Look at that. That is, I mean, could that just be a plane further out, and as it got closer to the camera, it we can finally see it blinking. You can see this other thing right here that could be a plane, right? They both look very similar, or are they both anomalous orbs that are both mimicking FAA compliant lights? Let me know what you think. Could be a terrific sighting. Meanwhile, George Knapp is talking about something that I talk about a lot. I call it the greater phenomenon. How so many different phenomena, in fact, all anomalous phenomenon, seem to be connected. It's all part of one big pattern that I call the greater phenomenon. And George Knapp talking about the same thing, although he calls it, he has a different term for it.
Kind of the way it goes. You go down the rabbit hole. You think you're chasing flying saucers from other planets. That leads you to other things. It's the journey Robert Bigelow made. It's the
Yeah.
journey that I made, that Jeremy has, and Mac believed there's a connected. They call it a unified theory of weirdness or something. That all this stuff is related somehow. You think
Yeah,
about
well,
Kenneth Arnold. We know Kenneth Arnold saw strange objects flying in the sky. Most people don't know that for the rest of his life he was haunted with poltergeist type activity in his
well,
house.
Yeah, I'd heard that before, by the unified theory of weirdness. But yeah, Kenneth Arnold, saw famously the first, flying saucers where that term originated, and yeah, haunted by poltergeist after all his life after that. Obviously, that's kind of a part of a pattern. In Las Vegas, they had aliens in their backyard one moment, they have a haunted house the next. Skinwalker Ranch. You've got UFOs, you've got poltergeist, you've got dogmen, you've got it all at Skinwalker Ranch. But that's so common throughout the history of UFO sightings and experiences is that yeah, they'll people will see their craft, and then they'll have other associated phenomenon that appears more supernatural or metaphysical or other dimensional or consciousness based, whatever you want to call it. Super fascinating. I think a very important part of the UFO phenomenon. And we're never going to understand the UFO phenomenon unless we look at the bigger picture that it is taking, that it is part of. And George is talking about the same thing and has reached the same conclusions. He says John, Mac, and Jeremy and everybody all are on this similar journey discovering this. So great stuff. I love that term, unified theory of weirdness. Wixie says, look at this orb captured in Mexico back on the 17th of April, 2017. Yeah, definitely moving weirdly. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like a bird. Doesn't look like a raccoon. I don't think that's a balloon. I don't think that's CGI. I think we're looking at something really anomalous and pretty cool here. Um, Benny agrees. Benny agrees. All right, yeah, it's kind of booking over there. Let's watch it go fast. That is pretty cool. That's a great sighting. Yeah, thank you, Wixie, for bringing that to us. I really appreciate it. I thought it was awesome. Yeah, now, of course, I'll link to that. Yeah. Meanwhile, of course, the astronauts are back. The astronauts that were stranded in space for 8 months or whatever it was. This was them landing in the water, and oh, there were dolphins. Dolphins there to greet them. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Dolphins saying, "Welcome back to Earth, guys." Love it. Love it. And here they are finally coming out.
It looks like we're getting our next crew member here. That
Yeah.
other than Sonny Williams.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. There they are. They're coming out. Coming out. Love it. Love it. Welcome home, guys. Welcome home. Meanwhile, some potentially great news. It's not UFO related, but it's great news, potentially. I mean, we hear about great scientific potentials all the time, but hey, I'm going to report this because it's neat. From Dr. Singularity, cancer breakthrough. New cancer therapy disguises tumors as pork to trigger immune attack. 90% effective. Chinese researchers turned the immune response to organ transplant rejection to cure cancer with a 90% success rate. Called a tumor to pork strategy, a new study published in Cell earlier this year demonstrated immense success in engineering a virus that tricked the human body into believing that cancer cells were pig tissue, thereby triggering a hyperacute inflammatory response. The virus began attacking the tumor with a staggering 90% success rate, to the point of curing a patient with advanced cervical cancer, which is amazing. New cancer therapy disguises tumors as pork. That is such a weird way to cure cancer, but hey, that's incredible. That's incredible. Godspeed, researchers. I hope this is it. I hope they've. I hope this is it, guys. It's just incredible. Meanwhile, talking about paranormal stuff, Kat Jennings, actress Kat Jennings, says a ghost saved her mother from falling down the stairs. Actress Kat Jennings recently recounted an eerie incident wherein a ghost seemingly saved her mother from a fall down some stairs that could have been disastrous. The two Broke Girl stars shared the spooky story during an appearance on the Jennifer Hudson show earlier this week, explaining that she grew up in an extremely haunted Pennsylvania home that was built in 1694. Dennings revealed that everyone in her family witnessed paranormal activity at the historic residence. "I know it sounds so crazy, but it really happened," the actress marveled, recalling how they experienced all the classics, such as lights turning off and on and objects moving on their own. Dennings specifically pointed to a peculiar moment when her mother ventured into the horrifying basement of the house. As she descended the rickety steps, the actress told Hudson she lost her footing and fell. However, she said, something seemingly intervened in the terrible tumble as her mom was stopped in midair by an unseen force that kept her from hitting the floor and then lifted her back into a standing position on the stairs. "Swear to God," Denning said, "I have goosebumps thinking about this." Well, don't have goosebumps. The ghost saved her. Have goosebumps that what could have happened if the ghost hadn't been around, right? A crazy case. And there's plenty of heartwarming ghost stories out there. I know of a few from my ghost hunting and even my own family experience. There's one house that my ghost hunting team investigated where the ghost would even turn down the bed for an old lady that was living there. Turn down the bed covers. And at one point she was coughing and it patted her on the back. So ghosts aren't all spooky. There's some nice ghosts out there. Folks. Christopher Sharp, meanwhile, says, getting back to the JFK stuff, JFK's advisor confirming a missile test led to the downing of a UAP. JFK and LBJ then verified this in a trip to Los Alamos. This is the story of the century. From Harold Momgren. I want to thank Chris Sharp for publishing I'm not going to be able to say that name. Obviously this is an older tweet. But talking about this nuclear test that apparently downed a UFO in the 60s, and JFK and LBJ were brought in on this. So they were aware of UFOs and, crash retrievals and the effect that nukes could have on UFOs potentially. Really interesting. I'll link to this. It's a long, in depth article. It really is. And you can see why both Harold Malmgren and Chris Sharp are really excited about this. From Geof. I'm not going to do that last name, guys. Oh, I know you want me to do his last name. Okay, fine. Kroikshank? Geof Kroikshank. Okay, that's it. I think I did. I nailed that one, guys. I nailed that one. You know I nailed that one. You know I did. You know I did. Let's see. Okay, Fringe, meanwhile, is trying to figure out the commonalities in alien experiences and abductions. What are abductions all about? Well, the conclusion Grok reaches, synthesizing the work of Mack, Hopkins, Jacobs, Turner, Smith, and Lamb, the most likely alien agenda is the creation of a hybrid species through a breeding program involving humans. This is supported by the widespread and consistent reports of reproductive procedures and hybrid encounters across their studies. Yeah, the alien abduction phenomenon, NHI abduction phenomenon, is vast and strange, deeply disturbing. At the same time, people are having encounters with what they consider to be their family members during these experiences. Not all of them. Some of them are very alarming. Some of them start alarming and then become warmer and more cordial as things progress. But yeah, people talk about these beings being their star family. This lady recalls a lifetime of experiences, and indeed, as many people do, that are able to recover these memories or that they don't have their mind wiped. I mean, first of all, it's a generational thing, and it's a lifetime thing, and people are taken often throughout the year. This lady says she has given birth or at least mothered 40 hybrid beings. And she considers her abductors her star family. And she recalls, growing up in a UFO, on and off, right? Coming to visit UFO frequently. I'll just play it for a minute what she has to say.
And so the ship was round, that my perception, all the walls were round. And what I loved is I could like run up and down the hallways. They let us be children. I call them my star parents, Zezu and Amitha. And the other beings on the ship just let us be children. On the walls of the ship, there were symbols, or I call it light language or star language, that were on the walls of the.
It's almost an hour long interview. I'll link to it. It's really amazing. She goes into a lot of detail about her experiences and her star family and information she's gotten and messages for humanity. The abduction phenomenon is, like I say, it's huge. From our best available information, there may be upwards of 200 million abductees or contactees on the Earth right now. This is an overwhelmingly vast, thing that the beings are doing. It may be central to why they're here. Some people say the abduction phenomenon is the UFO phenomenon. I wouldn't go that far, but it's clearly huge and important, and they put a lot of resources into it. It's not the U.S. military doing this to make people afraid of aliens, as Greer says. I'll link to this, but people consider these beings their family in many cases. It's really intriguing, and what's more, they might be. She says she's lived most of her lifetimes as a non-human and only a few as human. And she really relates to these beings as her family because she believes they actually are. It's wild, guys. It's wild. But I will leave you with this. And let me know what you think about it all. in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on Facebook and Twitter and Rumble and Discord. See the links below. If you want to support the channel, buy a t-shirt or a coffee mug. You can grab my book. I'm a novelist. If you like science fiction and fantasy books, go grab a copy of Book 1 of Cosmic Road. See the links below. You can become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.